go.
Hey everybody, it's Craig from Chameleon Cafe. I'm going to show you how to take care of a brisket once it is done being fully cooked. I had this in the smoker for a little more than 14 hours. Go ahead and zoom in here. So a brisket is made from two different muscles, and then there's this layer of fat in between right here. So you just need to locate that. Take your knife. I'm using a scimitar here. It's a knife specifically made for butchering large chunks of meat. You're going to want something relatively large so you can get a lot of blade in there to separate it. I did let this rest for about half an hour after it came out of the smoker. You don't want to mess with a piece of meat this big when it's fresh out of whatever you cooked it in, an oven or a smoker. Doesn't really matter. Something this big, you're going to want to let it rest for a while. It's just going to be too hot to handle for one thing, and all the moisture is going to bleed out if you cut it up early, and then you'll have dry meat. So, see, I'm just following this fat line here, and eventually we can just kind of rip it into two pieces. Alright? And from here, I'm actually going to use my hands a lot, because what we did is when the stuff is fully cooked, the collagen fat sort of turns to liquid, becomes very, very loose, and it's really easy to just pull it apart. So I want to leave the muscle whole and remove all of this fat, alright? So I'm just going to grab in there with my hands. There's this cap up on top. Just peel that fat right off. And there's going to be a couple big veins in here that we're going to want to find and pluck out, because those are not appetizing. Nobody wants to bite into a vein in their taco or sandwich. We'll use this knife to scrape a little bit like that. Alright, there's one of those veins, maybe? No? Let's see what we can find here. Oh, here we go. Boom. Same. You want to get that stuff out of there. You don't want to eat that. Alright, so we just take all of that fat and silver skin. That's pretty well cleaned up. Move on over to the second piece here. And this is where the majority of that fat cap ended up. I'm gonna use the knife to sort of get underneath it. Looks like there's another vein sticking up. Yeah. Just kind of get in there with your finger and pluck it out. I'm just dragging my blade along the fat. If it wasn't cooked properly, you won't be able to drag it and get it to come off like that. It would require you to use the actual edge of the blade. There's another one of those big veins sticking out. Boom. Alright, now there's multiple kinds of fat and tissue in here, and this is a whole bunch of silver skin, which isn't going to peel off like the fat. You gotta surgically get in there, separate it. Another vein over here. Fish him out. straggling veins here. You know, this is a big chunk of meat. Shouldn't be surprised that there's veins. Muscle does require blood flow. Alright, so that is a nice clean side. Again, the top here, probably the best way to attack it is with my hands. Just gonna peel at it and it's just gonna come off just like that. Again, if it wasn't fully cooked, if you didn't get it, let me rephrase that, it can be fully cooked, as in the internal temperature is appropriate to eat, but the fat is still hard, and it's going to be tough. You need to make sure that internal temperature gets, like, I don't even know what it is. I think it's over 225 for that collagen fat to sort of turn to liquid, and then it's not going to be hard and require an edged blade to cut. It's just going to peel away as I am demonstrating. So if you pull your brisket out of your smoker or your oven or whatever, and you need a knife to physically cut the fat off, it won't just pull off the bone. You haven't cooked it long enough. Best bet is to throw it back in. Low and slow is the name of the game. I put this sucker in about 5 o'clock last night, and I pulled it out sometime after 10. So yeah, 15 hours or so in the smoker at 200 degrees. You lose quite a bit of weight in the fat, but if you clean it up nice, you're not spitting out chunks of meat. Again, there's some of that silver skin. That is going to require you to separate it with a knife. But I'm not cutting it off. I'm just getting underneath it and it peels. Alright, that's pretty gosh darn cleaned up brisket there. Alright, now I'm just gonna pop this guy in the fridge, let it cool down so I can cut it into slices, and we use it, you know, on sandwiches, tacos, smoked brisket hash, all that good stuff. If you're serving this at home, you would probably just want to, at this point, just slice it up and put some mop sauce or barbecue sauce on it, and you're good to go. Thanks for tuning in.